So today we're diving into something, well, it's a pretty unsettling document. You can think of it like a captured letter, a secret memo, from a master manipulator named Stoneheart to his trainee. And what it does is lay out this deliberate, step-by-step strategy for driving people to burnout and despair. So let's pull back the curtain on this sinister playbook, starting with its core belief.
And this right here, this is the key to the whole operation. It's this chilling, almost gleeful observation. He sees how we've all been sort of taught to mix up our actions with our very being. And right there in that confusion, that's the perfect crack in the foundation for him to start his work.
So what is this thing, really? Well, it's a letter, a lesson from a seasoned pro in the art of destruction to his, quote, enthusiastic trainee. And the subject for today's masterclass? Productivity. But not as a tool for getting things done, oh no. It's about using productivity as a weapon to create this profound, hollowing sense of emptiness.
And here it is, the mission statement, just laid out in the open. The goal isn't to make people lazy or unsuccessful. Quite the opposite. The goal is to trap them on this endless treadmill of accomplishment until they actually believe that the running is who they are. So the second you stop, in your own head, you just cease to exist.
Okay, so how do they pull this off? Well, Stoneheart outlines this core tactic we're going to call the productivity equation. It's a really simple but honestly devastating formula. It's designed to forge this unbreakable link in your mind between what you do and who you fundamentally are. This is the central pillar of the whole strategy. We can call it the productivity lie. It's this sneaky, pervasive idea that your identity isn't something you just have, it's something you have to earn through action. Your worth isn't a given. Nope, it's a direct result of whatever you just accomplished. And this just lays the conflict bare, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the manipulator's message. You are what you do, which, let's be honest, we hear everywhere. And on the other side, you have the simple truth it's trying to smother, that your worth, your value as a person, exists completely separate from your to-do list. And in Stoneheart's own words, you can see the engine that makes this trap run. It's not a one-time thing. It's a relentless cycle. If doing more makes you better, then there's no limit, right? You're always just one more accomplishment away from feeling worthy. It's a race with no finish line.
Now here's the really insidious part, according to this letter. This isn't an idea that just pops into your head when you start your first job. Stoneheart actually boasts that this lie is so effective because its seeds are planted really early. They're wired into us during our most impressionable years.
He points his finger right at the education system. You know, when a child is taught that their intelligence is just a letter grade, and that being a good person gets you what he sneeringly calls pitiful awards, while test scores get the real prizes, well, the wiring begins. The message is crystal clear. What you produce is way more important than who you are.
It's this chillingly systematic process. Step 1, convince them that grades equal intelligence. Step 2, reward those tangible scores above absolutely everything else. And then step 3, the belief hardens into fact. What I can do is who I am.
And right here, these are the stakes. The system doesn't just reward the winners, it actively punishes those who don't perform. By tying your worth to your performance, failure stops being a setback. It becomes an indictment of your entire being. You didn't just fail a test, you are a failure. See the difference? It's brutal.
And get this, Stoneheart is almost bragging about the damage here. He compares the roots of this belief not to some little weed, but to something way more destructive, like the massive tree roots that can literally crack concrete sidewalks and destroy a building's foundation. The goal, as he puts it so coldly, isn't just to plant some fleeting idea. No, it's to cultivate a deep, foundational root system. Something destructive, invasive, and nearly impossible to get rid of.
Okay, so this brings us to the end game of the playbook. Once someone is totally convinced that their worth is tied to what they produce, the next move is to devalue anything that doesn't produce a tangible result. The whole point is to attack the very idea of just being.
Stoneheart zeroes in on a perfect target, prayer. But this could be anything. Meditation, just taking a break, resting. And why? Because from this purely transactional point of view, these things are totally useless. They don't produce anything you can see or measure or, post online.
So you see the internal conflict this lie sets up inside of us, right? Checking off a to-do list? Yep, you get a visible result, a checked box, so that feels valuable. Making something? You get an object you can hold, so that feels valuable. But prayer or rest, the result is internal. Peace, maybe, which has no tangible form. And under the productivity lie, its value is perceived as zero. Nothing.
I mean, this quote right here, this is the twisted logic of the trap in a nutshell. The need to show something for your time, to have a measurable outcome, is weaponized against the very activities that might actually bring you peace or a sense of self that goes beyond your accomplishments.
And here is Stonehart's final chilling boast. He's saying this whole culture of hustle and nonstop productivity, it's not some accident. He claims it's a system they've carefully built, a world they have fortified, where this toxic equation is just constantly reinforced everywhere you look.
And that's the ultimate deception. The lie is so brilliant because it disguises itself as self-improvement. People dive into the hustle, they embrace it, thinking it's making them better, more valuable, when in reality, it's just hollowing them out from the inside, cutting them off from their own inherent worth.
And so this all boils down to the one fundamental question that this entire strategy is designed to make you terrified to even ask. If you took away all the accomplishments, all the checked boxes, all the accolades, what would be left? The playbook we've just gone through is built on the fear that the answer is nothing. But the truth might just be everything.